Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Jabroni Drive. On this week's episode, the Elimination Chamber. Who's going to win? Jey versus Gunther. The Rock's promo. Are they giving us clues and so much more? Will this be the greatest episode in the history of Jabroni Drive? I think so. Timmy, what do you have to say to all the Schmidt-Lavelle-ites out there?
Tom, as you know, listening to Jabroni Drive is just to wee. But when you listen to Jabroni Drive, as always, you are a jabroni for life.
I love it.
I don't care if I'm ripping them off. It was one of the greatest times in wrestling history, and we love it, and you love it. Welcome to Jabroni Drive. Let's get this shit started.
That's what I'm talking about, Timmy. Timmy's fired up, and we don't care if we're ripping. You know what? If you got a problem with our promo, with our start of the show, we got 2 words for you. Suck it. No, just kidding. We love you, and we appreciate you listening. You know, the show's getting bigger. WrestleMania is coming up. A lot of things are happening. We're very excited, and we can't do it without you, the listener out there, the follower, the subscriber. We love you, and we appreciate you. Thank you for coming along on this journey on Jabroni Drive. Now, if you're not already doing it, now's the time. Give us that follow. Give us that subscribe. You know what I mean? We're trying to grow this show so we can make it better for you. Help us help you.
Tom, we are growing the show. We had our most viewers ever on our last episode, correct?
That's right. A big episode. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and people love it. And we're super excited. And let's get into what's going on in WWE right now. A huge weekend. We're going to start with the big one, the one everyone's talking about. Timmy, why don't we just play some clips from this past Friday? What a moment, what a time. You had to have seen it. Here we go.
Oh, you want to boo that, huh? Are you sure you want to boo The Rock? Finally, your life has meaning. Finally, you and your 50 wives will have a story to tell. And you know what I'm talking about? You'll have a story to tell your 600 inbred grandchildren one day. And that is what it's like to look at greatness in the flesh, because finally, The Rock has come back to Salt Lake City. Rock and Roman Reigns, the biggest WrestleMania main event in the history of WrestleMania. You had it in your hands and you let it go. You flushed it down the toilet. The same toilet you sat your fat asses on, and you sat there and tweeted, "We want Cody, we want Cody. Cody's gotta finish his story. He gotta finish his story." You're laughing now and you're booing because you know it's true.
One more.
Cody Rhodes, make one thing perfectly clear. The Rock is gonna do everything in his power to make sure that you walk out of WrestleMania what you are, which is a loser. Everything in his power to make sure that happens. Cody, your story is just ending. Our story is just beginning. The Bloodline, the most powerful, dominant duo in sports and entertainment, and of course in the WWE.
All right. Woo! Timmy, what a Friday night that was. I mean, it was so hyped up. We knew that Rock was going to be there. We knew Roman was going to be there. What's going to happen? Where's the storyline going? He comes out and he goes heel. First impression was I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I don't think anyone in the WWE is as entertaining as The Rock is on the mic. He's incredible. I thought the heel work was in our group text. I said a masterclass. I thought it was just from the start to end, just like just so much fun. I loved it. It was old school. It was nostalgic. It was The
Yeah.
Rock that we grew up with. It was just awesome. I want to get your impressions on the promo overall, and then we're going to break down each one of those segments that we just played. So
Yeah.
just first of all, impressions overall, and then we'll get into the other stuff.
The one thing that you said was nostalgic, and I felt that more than anything, because you hear these wrestlers, I mean, more so Austin Theory, he does pretty decent work. Like Grayson Waller does a little bit of work, like when he disparages the fans and stuff like that. Like, but The Rock has this innate ability to just go hard in on everybody. And it's like they don't do it the way that The Rock used to do it, right? And like, look, there was wrestlers even back then, like the Attitude Era and moving forward. Like again, everyone knows who watches this show on a regular basis knows that there is about 15 to 20 years of wrestling that I have never seen. But my callback is to that era when any heel would go after the fans, and they would go hard after the fans, and it would be ruthless, it would be vicious, but The Rock was always the best at it. He was always so good at just, like, whether it would be one person or whether it would be the entire crowd, like he just would lay in hard. And that's what we got. We got full heel Rock. And he came out. And look, it's been said. Look, I hate that we do this show on Tuesday nights because there's been so much reaction since Friday SmackDown, where like everyone says the same thing. Yeah, he came out in that $500 shirt, and like
The
it
glasses, the
yeah.
look, it was old school heel Rock, man.
Yeah, and it was awesome to see. And we don't heal. This is where I'm going. We don't hear that type of heel work at all in the WWE anymore. And it was just really cool to see him. And I said this to you too, Tom, on the side. I think I side texted you. I said, dude, this guy is the most profitable movie star. Like, this guy is he's a top 3 movie star in
The world.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, this guy has everything to lose in terms of like credibility. Like, dude, like fans could turn on this guy just
And then not want to
because,
buy his products anymore.
yes, because
Right.
he's doing this. And it's insane. Like, I can imagine that his agents are like, dude, are you nuts? You cannot go fully back into the WWE and become a heel and absolutely talk shit on every single fan that goes to see your movies, that buys your products. Like, he's doing this, and then he, like, I don't know if you've seen, he just came out with the commercial for his energy drink for Zoa, and then he just went to Daytona 500 and said, "Gentlemen, start your engines." Like, this guy, he doesn't hide well. It's
No.
it's like, all right, dude, you just were the biggest asshole in Salt Lake City on Friday night, and now you're
Start
promoting
your
this
engines.
product.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
like,
By the way, buy this energy drink, all natural. You're gonna love it. It gives you that buzz without the jitters.
right. It's like, and then you just crushed an entire city for
Yeah.
having 50 wives. And it's cool because he is taking that risk. So that's why, in my opinion, like, this is a long-term investment. Like, he would not just do this just for, just a quick pump. You know what I mean? Like, this is
Right.
something that It's going to be long term. It's going to be something that lasts for a little while. This isn't just going to WrestleMania and dying, but like the the promo that he cuts, the things that we just listened to were just incredible. And I'm happy that this is the direction they decided to go in.
Me too. And I love it. And like you said, he has this ability to, and what's really interesting is he goes right to that line, right up to the line of this is too far commercially. If you know what I mean? Like there's only so much you can do and get away with and say now. Like back in the day, they could do a lot more, but now it's like you got to toe this line, and he takes it right up to that line to where it's like
He's
this
pushing the
is
envelope.
almost crossing the line, but he does it in a way that it's endearing, and it's like, you love it. And that's part of the thing I want to talk about now is the heels nowadays. I'm curious, as you saw in his promo, they started cheering for him.
Yeah.
They started chanting his name because they're like, because he's so entertaining. He's so funny. He has that line of where people are like, oh my gosh, like, this is amazing. And he can do basically whatever he wants. And he does it to a point where he's still not crossing that line, but is right there and just entertaining everybody. And so, are we going to get that full heel reaction? Like, I feel like the audience now is such a fickle audience with the WWE is now going to be like, oh man, we love The Rock. Maybe it should be him. Maybe he should be main eventing. So he comes out, and it's almost like he's got the look, and you're like, okay, what's gonna go? And then he says, congratulations for setting and breaking the attendance record and breaking the Rock's attendance record for seeing the largest gathering of trailer park trash he's ever seen in his life. And right there, I jumped up. I said, oh my God, he's back. Yes, the heel Rock. I'm naturally a fan of heels, and he just comes out and he just hits them and hits them. And the the weird thing I'm saying about that to me is, how are people going to view this? Because he's not going to get booed out of the building, I don't think. And that's really, I mean, I feel like that's what you want, is you want to be. Now, I think Roman will be catching more heat from this, but I guess that's part of that long-term story that we're talking about, is eventually they're going to split. When will it happen? Will it happen as quickly as WrestleMania? Is it going to happen after that and they fight next year? I don't know,
Well,
but I feel like The Rock has put himself in a good position to be with Roman now and then eventually turn into the good guy.
I think the object here for The Rock and for the Bloodline is to get as much heat as possible, right? Like that's the goal. And that's the right goal. You need to build this up to a level that is unprecedented, right? And I think that's the challenge that is now going on with The Rock, because you're right, he is a heel, and like he got a lot of heat, right, from the press conference, and we're like, oh man, like they probably didn't see that like he was going to get booed, like then the Rocky sucks shit started and all that stuff, and then he's like, all right, well, like if they actually did do this where they pivoted and they're like, all right, well, Rock, you got to go full heel now, and he goes full heel, and now everyone loves him. It's
Yeah.
like, oh shit, now what do we do? So I just he's in a really tough spot.
Can I
And I
talk about that real quickly, though? That spot? It's almost like maybe he should have stayed with the storyline of, it's my spot. I should be there. I'm gonna give all, and like put that big smile on his face. I'm gonna give everyone what they want. It's me versus Roman at Mania. I'm gonna make this happen, and kind of like, almost like when Kurt Angle first came in and he was like, I'm an Olympic hero and everybody, I do all the right thing, integrity, intensity, intelligence. And people were just like, oh, we don't want this cookie. Like, I feel like that's how he would get real heat. When he turns into the heel, he becomes likable. So, like you were saying, kind of a a tough spot now for the fan because they love seeing heel Rocky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry to
It
cut you off there.
No, you're spot on, dude. I think that we're both like touch on the same things, and I know a lot of people have said the same thing because it's natural and it's so easy to see for everybody, right? They're like, God damn it, like, um, I think the really like the big thing that everyone's trying to figure out is whether or not they did pivot or whether this was the plan all along. And again, we're gonna find out 10 years later at like on Beyond the Mat or whatever episode that is of what actually really happened. But this is the story that we are given now, and we have to evaluate it based on what we say.
Yeah.
Um,
And
last week,
to those people out there, Timmy, that would, you know, whether or not was it a pivot, and we find out later, that'll be really cool. And like you said, those behind the scenes. But if the question is, did they pivot or not? If you're going to ask, did they pivot or not? It doesn't matter if they pivoted or not. Doesn't matter now.
well,
We've got the story. It doesn't matter if they pivoted or not.
and we have
As of
been
right now.
this show. We have been on board with everything that they've look. We've been critical of some things, but listen, Tom, what we get is what we get. You know what I mean? Like we can't change those storylines and we're not going to pretend to do so, but like this is what we get and this is what we have to deal with. And not saying deal in a bad way, but like most of the stuff that I've seen over the course of the last 8 to 10 months has been really good. And it's been really good writing. And I mean, we've been critical of certain things and I'm not going to identify all those now, but like this is good. Everything that we're seeing right now is good to great. The Cody storyline, the Rock storyline, the Bloodline storyline, and we're going to touch on that later because we got a lot more from the Bloodline over the like at Raw and even in SmackDown too as well. Like this is all building very nicely, and there's going to be a major crescendo, and it's going to be in the heart of Philadelphia, and we're going to fucking be there to watch it, and it's going to be epic.
Yeah. And we're super excited now. So now let's get into like some of the things that were done in that promo. A lot of things, and this is what the wrestling fan does. We're all looking for the Easter egg. We're all looking for that nugget of information. And sometimes when we do that, it's like, are we seeing something? Is this something, or is this something I'm making up in my head that is going on? And when we refer to the promo, particularly when he says, you know, that the fans have flushed this down the toilet, and then he goes and he says, "You're Cody Rhodes," and then he points at Roman and says, "You're a loser. You're always gonna be and you're gonna lose at WrestleMania." And then he looks back at the camera and then he says, "Your story is ending," and he points at Roman again, and then he says, "Our story is just beginning." And is that a tell? Is that something where, the storyline could be
But
at
even
WrestleMania, The Rock helps Cody win the championship, and this was all a setup by Cody and The Rock to win the championship. And at the end, too, when they're holding up the finger, The Rock has an L and not the finger. Are these things that are just
yeah,
they just happen in the promo and we're dissecting it too much, or is it, part of the story? Is this part of the clues? Everything has meaning.
it's part of fandom, and uh and that's what's fun. That's like the fun part about it is that you see things online, and the HJB is like exceptional at doing this because he gets on Twitter and he scours the internet and he finds things and he sends it to us, and um we have our sometimes we don't respond, sometimes we get involved in what we see out there. uh it's just it's part of being a fan. But like before even all that stuff happened, we get the Roman Reigns thing where he says, like, y'all haven't been paying attention. You better listen to what we're saying. Like, there's meaning to what we say, right? Like, so when you drop something like that, right, and you have wrestling fans who are just absolutely fanatics. They're gonna look into everything that they do, they say, they speak, right? Like you were, dude, you were researching Dusty Rhodes promos from 20 years ago, 30
Oh,
years
further
ago.
than that, yeah.
Yeah. And that's what people do. Like I'm not that fanatical about it, but I mean, I will certainly entertain the conversation if it does pop up again. Um it is cool though, because this is what the wrestling world is. And from where I was being just kind of like a casual fan, looking at it from the outside in, being a fan like when I was in high school, to now like really seeing everything that comes with it. It's intense. Like, and these fans really dive deep into it. And for example, like dude, we've brought this up in the past, like the CM Punk trail that we kept on bringing up. We kept on saying like, hey, like they just did the CM Punk, finale, like the finishing move, like Shinsuke was doing that stuff. Remember, like we kept on like
Right,
pointing that
yeah.
out, like we're seeing like these little Easter eggs. Like it could CM Punk show up, and sure enough, he shows up. Like,
They did the same thing with Bray Wyatt a couple years ago, where there's these little, these little nuggets, these little trails. There was things going on, and there's social media. You're like, is this really happening? Is this going on? And even when The Rock, is The Rock going to be around? Is he not coming? Like, it's
yeah,
always been stuff like that, and it's really cool to see. And so I guess it's just important stuff to note, to have in your memory of when things do eventually play out, you can look back and say, aha, this was something, or oh, that was nothing. We just, it is what it is. So,
yeah. We tend to forget about the stuff that we note, right? So, it would be cool, really, to see how this whole thing plays out, and if like this the stuff that does happen, like they do say, and it does come to fruition, like that's really what I think you have to follow. Because if this is the way that the WWE is going to be moving forward, you're gonna be able to kind of figure it out. You'll see like kind of like that pattern, right?
right.
Because it's the same guy really in charge of creative, right? Like there's the same guys that are, so that like what works usually you stick with. So I mean, we might see that repetitive pattern happen over and over and over again. So history
Yeah.
has a tendency to repeat itself, Tom.
Yeah. And I'm curious. And so now I would say what I would like to happen as far as right now, I'm hoping that the Rock Roman storyline is just getting started as far as their kind of faction being together. I'm hoping it doesn't end at WrestleMania and, they somehow stick together and then their faction ends up breaking up maybe later next year or later in the year or early next year, and then that leads to Roman and Rock at Mania. I just feel like you can then have the belt off of Roman. The problem is, how much time do you have with The Rock? I mean,
Right.
he's what, 51? And, how many more matches can he have where, he doesn't get seriously injured? You get older, and next thing you know, you got a torn this or torn that or whatever. And that's how I would like it to play out. Time will
What,
tell, but I
Tom?
would
What?
like him to help Roman win at Mania, I think.
Let me ask you one question. All right, and I already have my answer. What did what did you expect from the Rock's involvement with like this whole bloodline thing? And are you happy with where it's at?
I'm happy with where it's at right now. I really am happy with where it's at. I expected, I guess it's not maybe expected, but hoped. I thought that we would be getting Roman Rock at Mania, but we always said the problem was Roman has the title. If Roman has the title, you know who's going to win. Even without the title, I feel like Roman still wins, but it's it's something that like we were playing it out from back in SummerSlam and then Survivor Series and then the Rumble and as far as him losing the title prior to Mania, that time passed and it seems like they want to go after Hogan's record. So either way, I'm happy with where they're at right now. And I want their story to slow burn on that breakup. Let it be a while from now so that it means so much more when it does happen. I don't want it to just end at Mania. And that means The Rock's involvement. He doesn't have to be here full time, but
So
here and there.
I'll give you my answer. I think that right now, I thought The Rock was going to be a fringe guy. I thought he was going to be in and out. So from when we get the promo where he says, "Should I sit at the head of the table?" to where we're at right now, I think the biggest significant moment of this whole thing happened on Friday night where he is part of the bloodline. That I think is the biggest thing for this whole movement, whatever it is, wherever it's heading, for him to be included in the bloodline as a member is pretty significant.
Absolutely. It's huge. And the aesthetic, the look of it is the most dominant faction. I mean, you have two of the greatest, one a guy that's widely considered on the Mount Rushmore with Roman Reigns. Who knows where he'll be at the end of his career, but multiple WrestleMania main events, mega stardom with The Rock. Roman is a star, the guy in WWE. I mean, man, it's just that's why I think I want it to last longer. So it's
Yeah.
not like this quick thing. And it'll be great for us because it's our WrestleMania. So if we want some major story and some huge thing to happen, I mean, I can't complain about The Rock helping Cody win at WrestleMania. That would be awesome. You know what I mean? But as a fan that's going to be there after WrestleMania, I don't know. I like the long build and it just makes that boom, that final
Well,
thing.
there hasn't been a longer build than Cody's story. So
Just get longer. I know, but I really feel like they want Roman to break Hogan's record. I don't know. We'll see. But super exciting stuff. And I love where we're at right now. And, you know, I guess I should just trust them because if I love where it's at now and I've loved what's been going on in the past, they seem to be doing things correctly. All right. Let's get to the match from Monday night, the big match, the main event of Monday Night Raw, and that is Jey Uso versus Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. Timmy, this match, man, when people say the wrestling is fake, I feel like they should get a chop from Gunther right away. That's a trigger word for the fan. It's wrestling's fake. It's not fake, it's scripted. We get it. We're fans. We realize what's going on. But that match from the jump, and I think it was because they were limited on time, was hard hitting, brutal, just like Gunther's matches always are, but they jumped right into it. It was awesome.
um dude, it was one of the more brutal matches I've ever seen on Raw. After that match, I said to you and the HJB, I said, dude, I mean, Jey Uso took an absolute beating. It was just some points like hard to watch, dude. Like he was just getting dismantled, and the chops are really what does it. And Gunther just delivers it just so differently, man. I don't know what it is about him, but it's just so much more. Look, him, we've said this before. Him and Sheamus and Drew, their chops are just intense and more brutal than anyone else's on the roster. I know Ric Flair is the originator, or he gets credit for the chop. I mean, dude, what Ric Flair does has no comparison to what these three individuals do. They destroy people. And God, dude, you thought that Jey Uso was going to pull that thing out, Um, the match had that feel to it, didn't it, Tom? Like
Yeah.
where we're like, dude, we're like there was so many, and we predicted this, you know, just on our text line. We're like, dude, this is gonna be like there's gonna be a lot of near falls, a lot of false finishes, and we got all those. My God, but we did not see what was happening, what happened at the end.
That was
Um,
great too, like the not seeing that happening. You know what I mean? It was something different, which I love when they do something different and it's like, okay, here's the swerve. You know there could be a swerve coming and it's done in a unique, new kind of way. And I love that. Another thing, there was many different variables that thought that maybe this is the moment. There was a lot of people there as far as, investments.
yeah.
TKO was there, Netflix was there, UFC fighters were there, bull riders were there. The whole company was at this show, the new company,
And
and you thought maybe they want to give them this magical moment to say, "Hey, this is what you bought," you know?
but that was really cool that they kept on showing that. Yeah, they kept on showing that like these people were ringside. They identified them and look, obviously it's a plug and all that stuff, but like still like it matters to the audience. Like
Yeah.
because we see that and we're like, dude, this is a big fucking show. Like there's like this is gonna be major. And it might have been the best Raw um maybe in since I started watching. I don't know. I mean, we've said that a couple times because Raw has been really good, but like I was upset because in the first 90 minutes, I said, dude, there's only been two matches in the first 90 minutes. And the first match was Cody and Drew, which was excellent. And then it was the women's battle royal, and we got some stuff like in between, but like I was just like, dude, like this sucks kind of because like I wanted more, you know.
Yeah. Well, let's
But
talk about the Cody and Drew match. Like you said, excellent. Two of the two of the best in the
hold on,
world
hold on,
right
hold
now.
on.
Yeah.
Before we go there, are we done with Jey and Gunther?
No, we're gonna get to that because we're gonna talk about the end. So the match was incredible. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. Cody versus Drew. And then we come to the end of the match. Cody's setting everything up. It looks like he's gonna be getting his finisher on Drew. Boom, out comes the bloodline, and here comes Jimmy Uso, and here comes Solo, and they start attacking Cody and being the goons and the henchmen for Roman and The Rock now. And they come and they take out Cody. He gets the Samoan spike to the throat, nailed down. Drew gets up, sees, he sees that, oh man, this has worked out to my advantage. Claymore kick, 1, 2, 3. The first wrestler or the second wrestler to pin Cody Rhodes since he's been back
Yeah.
in the WWE, and which is very significant. We've talked about Drew's contract coming up and how it's coming to an end. There's been a little extension on that contract for Drew, and it's just a big moment. The bloodline interferes. Drew wins, also adding to that story of his, I feel, adding to that story of his, he needs help to win. He doesn't win the big one by himself. He's realizing, I need help. If I get the help, I can win. I can get that championship that I want. So the bloodline leaves. Pierce comes on and sees Cody. Cody, are you all right? Are you okay? We've kicked them out of the building. They're out of this building. They're gone. So me, I'm like, okay, they kicked them out of the building, which is another thought in my head that set me up for the Gunther Jey match, which is great storytelling on WWE's part because I'm like, all right, well, the Bloodline's kicked out of the building, so they can't interfere in that match. That's initially what I thought. Maybe they're kicked out and they won't come back in and interfere. Any more on the Drew Cody match you want to say, Tim?
The Drew Cody match I thought was um dude, it had that PLE feeling to it. I mean, these two guys are just monsters in the business right now, right? Like you got arguably one of the best faces in the company, probably the best face in the company, and a guy that's really starting to work well as one of the best heels in the company. And their story is not like, yeah, they don't parallel each other or anything like that, but like they're obviously mixing here. Um, the one big takeaway for me, okay, is the interference. And the reason why I say that is because it is a carbon copy of how Cody loses at WrestleMania 39. Solo comes in, right? If you remember at
Spikes
WrestleMania
him.
39, Cody's going for his third cross cutter or Cody cutter,
Cody
right?
Cutter.
And
Crossroads.
Crossroads, I'm sorry.
And then he
And
goes in the corner and boom. And this one was against the ropes. Yeah, very similar.
so I think what they're trying to do there is kind of refresh everyone's memory, right? Like that's a
Ah,
refresher. It's like, hey, like this is exactly how it went down, right? And I don't think that has anything to do with Drew, but I think it puts that reasonable doubt in your mind about, hey, like Cody versus Roman, like could this happen again in a month's time? I think that's a subtle kind of like plant on the WWE side. I think that's a nice little thing that they pulled off there. Um, the match in itself, I think was great. But it worked well for Drew because Drew gets his W over one of the biggest stars in the WWE. And I said to you this too, if you watched that match, Drew thanks Cody. You could see it when he goes for the pin. He tucks his head near Cody's, and usually wrestlers when they're going over or when they get a W that they're not supposed to, they thank the other wrestler, and it looked like a situation there. Not saying that like Drew needs to thank Cody, but Cody is the moneymaker right now. He is the guy. And
he's the
everyone knows,
face. He's
and
the
everyone
he's the
knows that.
ultimate baby face right now.
And for that's the only second loss, like you just identified. He took that elbow,
Second pin.
second pin. He took that elbow for Drew. And obviously there's other mitigating factors that came with it, but I think it's impressive. It adds to his resume. It adds to Drew's character for him to get that win over Cody. So I think that it does, obviously it does way more for Drew than it does for Cody. Cody's going to stay where he's at. He's going to be red hot. But like adding this win to Drew, I think it makes him even more credible, and it adds to his character. It adds to his heel turn. It's it's really good. It's really good the way that they built that up.
Yep. And so, like we mentioned, Pierce says that the Usos had been kicked out of the building. We get to the end of the Gunther Jey match. You think Jay's got it locked in. Spear, 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 spear. He gets him in the ring. He does the Uso splash. Boom. 1, 2. Ding, 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 ding. The bell kept ringing. Everyone stops, looks over. A hooded man is there. He pulls the hood back. Jimmy Uso. I mean,
Oh, it
it
was the ice
was
cream truck.
it was I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was one of the better, you know, things they've done for
It's a great
Jimmy.
work. It's a great work, dude. It is a great work.
Yeah.
Um, I thought it because it's another thing that comes out of the blue. Like it's not expected at all because you already identified, hey, like these guys are out of the building, right? So you're thinking you're going to get a clean main event, and that's what I thought too. I'm like, dude, this is going to be excellent. And there's a lot of fever behind it, right? Like that crowd in Anaheim was just dude, they were on fire.
They
Uh,
were, and they were hot like right away with that match. I do feel like, and I think it was because of the arc of the show, there were some lulls in it. Like you said, there's only two matches in the first hour and a half, and they woke right back up when they needed to, and they were fully invested, and it was It was hot.
Yeah, it was extremely hot. And dude, like Gunther delivers every goddamn time. Like the dude doesn't miss a beat. I mean, I think last week he had that match that he just seemed a little off on. But he comes back with a vengeance this week. But like the Jimmy Uso ringing the bell, uh, yeah, it's clearly a setup for WrestleMania with Jimmy. And we were talking about like how the hell did they get on the same show?
Right.
Right. Like that was like the thing. Like we talked about it, like, hey, I said that I see Jimmy and Jey at WrestleMania from what we saw at Rumble. I'm like, this has got to happen. Like the crowd reaction from that would alone would speak to this is a WrestleMania match that needs to
Oh,
take
and the
place.
emotion behind it.
Yeah. And I think we're gonna get a little bit more storyline to that and add to it. But man, it was cool to see that dynamic. You got the brother dynamic, you got like the tag team dynamic, the bloodline dynamic. Like there's so many storylines that are wrapped up in this, right? Like who traded against who. Like if you think about it, like Jimmy's the one that really kind of turned against the bloodline. He's the one that super kicked, you
Roman
know,
first.
Roman first. And
That's why
um
we were critical of the Jimmy being the one to turn on Jey. You
yeah.
know, when it happened at SummerSlam, we were like, "What? You know, this is kind of just." It seemed like it was done, but now that you've gotten past that and you realize, okay, there was a major betrayal, whether or not it added up with the storyline or not, it's really developed, and they've done a great job again of planting those seeds, putting that in. Remember, there was the face off like months ago on SmackDown where Cody and Roman and Jimmy and Jey and they were staring at each other, and then obviously Rumble, and now this. So how do we get them further on? Does you think we get a retaliation from Jey on SmackDown coming up, or maybe
Yeah.
not this one, but in a week or so?
Well, there's no shot that that's going to happen since like Jimmy is a SmackDown wrestler and Jey is a Raw wrestler. So there's no way that they're going to be
It's
able to,
impossible. It's an
yeah.
impossibility.
So there's not a shot. And if you guys know the show, you know that we figure out ways to get these superstars together. We're weird.
So, do you think Jay will now, like, are you expecting a retaliation from maybe they form a mini shield where they got Seth, Cody, Jay, and they go and try to take out
It's a good
the
idea.
bloodline?
It's a good idea. Dude, I'm
Because they have
thinking.
to interact more. If you're going to have it be a Mania match, there has to be a couple more interactions before you can book this match.
Sure, sure. I'm thinking more so on the Cody side, like we're still getting the Seth Rollins stuff, like where Seth is in the back and he taps like Cody on the, and he's like, "Yep, yeah, I should have had you there," right? Like that type of deal. Um, I think that we're going to get more star power. I don't know in what way, shape, or form. I don't think it's anyone on the roster. Um, I'm not. Nah, I don't know if it's Cena. I mean, there's a lot of chatter on like Tom just gave me the Cena thing and for those
Maybe we
listeners
just
out
can't
there.
see him.
Yeah,
Maybe he was there. We just didn't see him.
it would be I mean, look, we talked about Gold Dust coming back, but like I don't think that's like a major impact,
His
right? Like
contract's not up before Mania. It's
yeah.
he's with
So
AEW till I think SummerSlam.
so there's got to be somebody out there that they're going to bring in, right? Like that is meaningful, right? Like that because the bloodline has everyone that they have, right? And you need to match, you got to match guy for guy, in my opinion. That's the way I think it's going to work out. Where like, hey, the Rock is going to be there. You need somebody as big as the Rock in your corner. I don't know how they do it. I'm not going to say it's like Stone Cold or anybody like that. Like,
Oh
but
my God. That
but
would be epic.
yeah, it's got to be somebody that's meaningful, that has meaning to Cody Rhodes. I don't know who that, you could probably dig, Tom, and you could probably find a connection some way, shape, or
Oh,
form.
Randy Orton.
Yeah. But he's expected to probably be in the main event, right?
Yeah.
On night one.
Well, you think
So
it's gonna? Okay, we're gonna get to the elimination predictions soon, but
yeah, I just don't know how it's gonna work out. But I do think that you gotta go guy for guy. It's almost gonna be like a lumberjack match where you got, three guys in Heyman. Like you got Jimmy, you got Solo, you got The Rock, and it's gonna be Roman in the ring. You need to match guy for guy. You can't just show up with like Seth Rollins. If Seth Rollins is the guy that's going to be in his corner, you're going to need a couple more guys with you. So whether that be Jey Uso, that would be cool to see him, out there after he.
oh, you know who? Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn has got major history with the bloodline, and
Yeah.
he's definitely someone that can come over. And I don't know if where his storyline is headed over there. I know he's been with Logan Paul, but KO's over there. I don't
Do you
think
have a?
KO has a
I
problem
think
with
you
him.
need a legend though. Like if they
I
they got The
agree.
Rock, I think you need a legend.
Stone
And
Cold, Cena,
yeah,
Orton, I mean
yeah.
Orton's there, so he seems easy, but I don't know who else they could bring back that
But
would have like a
that
whoa.
star power would be insane. Imagine this, right? It like let's just hypothetically,
Yeah.
as we do things on this show. Imagine if they come out with three guys, right? Rock, Jimmy, Solo, right? Roman's in the ring, and Cody comes out with, so it's Sami Zayn, it's Jey Uso, and it's Cody in the ring. And everyone's down, right? The Rock is
Oh my God.
ready to drop the people's elbow, and then boom, the glass hits, and Stone Cold comes out, and it's a face to face Stone Cold versus the Rock in the ring over Cody, and
They
like,
just
dude,
start duking it out, and next thing
yeah,
you know, it's a melee, and everyone,
yeah,
and then Cody and Rock and Roman are now fighting.
yeah,
He hits the
yeah,
Cody cutter, and then right to the crossroads. One, two, three.
yeah.
Throw me a Steve Watt. Dude, if the fucking glass shatters at WrestleMania and he comes, like, we're gonna lose our minds.
Well, that's the last time that they faced off, right? Was WrestleMania 15, right? Or no, no, no,
No,
no.
they faced off
Well,
at
that's a
17 as well, but that was the last time it was in Philadelphia. Rock was a heel. I don't think he was the heel in 17. They were both faces at that point. That was with that My Way promo video, the Limp Bizkit song, which is like one of the best videos of all time. They always refer to that. Oh, dude, it's good to dream, but a lot going on. We're going to leave it up to you, the fan out there, to try to figure it out. That's why we love talking about it and going through. So let's keep going, and we're going to get to now the PLE for this weekend. And a lot is going on this weekend, a lot of things to be decided. We seem to have what I can see is two matches set up already. You've got for WrestleMania, Bailey versus Io Sky, Roman versus Cody is supposed to be happening. The winner of the men's elimination chamber should face Seth Rollins. The women of the women's elimination chamber will face either Mommy or Nia Jax, whoever wins that match. We're now saying it seems like a good possibility you get the two Uso brothers fighting each other, Jimmy versus Jey. Gunther's going to need a match. The card's starting to develop. We're going to start with the women's elimination chamber. Um, Timmy, both of these chamber matches, men's and women's, are star studded. You don't have that marquee championship match for Elimination Chamber, so they loaded up these chambers with the best that they have to offer in both divisions, non champ. So you got, and I'm going to try to run through them because now you got Raquel Rodriguez, you've got Naomi,
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch, the man, Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Tiffany Stratton, the girl
Tiffany
from
Stratton.
NXT. So, who do you have winning this elimination chamber and facing the winner of Nia Jax versus Rhea Ripley?
All right, so it's tough to go against Becky Lynch because she's such a draw. But you have another person that's like even a bigger draw right now, which is Bianca Belair. They're both insanely talented, in my opinion. I think they both do well in these big matches. Um, in my opinion, think I I think that Becky Lynch wins this only because I feel as if they're gonna do a Jade Cargill Bianca Belair build. I think that's the match that they want to happen. Um, I don't know when it takes place. I don't know if it happens at, I mean, maybe we get an interference by Jade in the Elimination Chamber where she costs Bianca, the title or like a
Ah.
pinfall. And then we get the match at WrestleMania because I think she's just too talented not to put on the WrestleMania card. So I think you get Becky Lynch gets the dub. She goes on to WrestleMania to wrestle well, either Nia Jax or Mommy. I think it's gonna be Mommy, but and then you get a women's match between Bianca Belair and Jade.
Yeah. So they teased that at the Rumble where they both had the presses going with the wrestlers. So another one that we were referencing with the Rumble tease there too. So I I agree. I think Becky Lynch ends up winning this Elimination Chamber, and you have that marquee main event match, Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch, two of the best women in the WWE going at it for a championship match. That is as top up as you can get in the WWE.
It's
Those
hard for
two.
you to say, isn't it?
I didn't love Becky's pro. I don't know. I don't whatever. She's a great character. There's no denying that. She obviously has some drawing power. She obviously has some stroke in the WWE, but I would hope that Mommy would win at WrestleMania and beat Becky Lynch. I'm praying that that's what happens. So if that ends up being the match, I mean, Raquel Rodriguez, her and Mommy have had a history of some good matches, especially in NXT. I don't see that happening. Tiffany Stratton, she's a up and comer,
Too new.
very very good, but too new to win it. I feel like those are probably like the first couple that are eliminated. Um, you got Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan has an interesting story. She is someone that you could have. She mentioned it on Raw. I don't think her mic skills are to the level of Becky Lynch or Mommy or Bianca right now. She comes off like she's trying, but she's just not nailing it yet. She's got a great look, super hot, and she's good in ring. She's a little wild. She's been injury prone, but she has a story with Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley eliminated her last year, the last two in the Royal Rumble. She obviously injured Liv Morgan as well, as was mentioned on Monday Night Raw. So they have an interesting story. So Liv Morgan, then Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch, I feel like are your three front runners.
But
Did I name everyone else? Naomi, I don't feel like Naomi just came back.
I think they're going to give her some time to build herself up. But I would say, speaking of building themselves up, and I mentioned this to you, and we've had a conversation about this in the past. I mean, what they've done, and we're saying that Mommy's going to win in Perth at the Elimination Chamber over Nia Jax. We're just saying that as an afterthought, but like what Nia Jax has been able to do to rebuild her character, her reputation, like everything that they've done creatively to put her in the position she's in right now is exceptional. I think they've done it. I think they need a little round of applause, some kudos for what they've done with Nia Jax.
Yeah, they've built her up and she's done a great job and she looks strong. She looks like a real force out there in the ring and they've put her over. I mean, she looks great and this I'm looking forward to this match with her and Rhea Ripley at
Yeah.
Elimination Chamber. So I'm excited for that match and like you said, Timmy, she's been on a great trajectory just going up and looks very strong. And WWE's done a great job with Nia Jax. We'll see what happens at Chamber, but I'm with you. I still feel like Mommy wins. Her momentum's too hot. She's too over. She's the best women's wrestler they got right now. And, you know, I don't feel like you take that belt off of her there. And I still don't think you take it off at WrestleMania. It would be interesting to have the Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair match. And if you're bringing in Jade Cargill and you're going to make her a star and you put her over Bianca Belair at WrestleMania, it's like, whoa. Like, then you have another main event WrestleMania
Yeah.
caliber
Yeah.
wrestler with Jade Cargill. All right. So we build up Nia. We both have Mommy winning. We both think Becky Lynch wins the Elimination Chamber. I love the idea of the interference with Jade Cargill to eliminate Bianca Belair. The tag match. Now we've got the strong style, the English strong style gents versus the Judgment Day. Now, as much as we've given WWE credit for how they've built up Nia Jax and a lot of things in WWE, man, the tag team division is just lost. I
It's not even lost. I don't think it's lost. I think it's in a great spot. I just don't understand where they're going with it.
their
Like,
story, I guess I should say. I have no
yeah,
interest in really either of these two tag teams holding the
yeah,
belt. There's
yeah.
no like weight there at all.
Like, this is the only thing right now that's just like such a mess. Like, is the WWE tag team division. It's like, why we thought DIY would have won that match, and I felt like that would have been a start to something that was meaningful, because DIY, they have a lot of history, right? Like, these aren't like two guys that are just thrown together. They have a history in NXT. They've been tag team champions down there. Um, it just was weird, like, that they threw these two guys together, and I hate, honestly, I hate their style of wrestling. I hate that. Like,
Right.
it's not my preference. I think you need guys that are legitimate tag teams, like guys like um
Creed
who,
brothers.
the Creed brothers. Like, this would be like a perfect opportunity for them to really, like, to start their journey, really. Like, that's where everyone starts, like New Day, um uh and even the Usos, right? Like, these guys started young. Like, why not giving them an opportunity to run with the tag team belts? Like, it.
Street Profits, AOP. You could even throw in Alpha Academy there. If you're not going to do anything with Gable, and shoot, should we have well, maybe we will, but maybe give them the tag belts and have, like something like,
Yeah, it just seems like a misstep here with where they're going. I yeah, I can't make sense of it. I have no explanation for it. I can't even talk anymore on it, Tom, because it bothers me. Because, like, this is the only match at Elimination Chamber that I don't even want to see. I don't even care about, really.
yeah. And I feel like the match, I'd imagine it's what's going to start the show. And well, maybe they'll probably actually start with the chamber. I'm assuming actually they'll start with the women's chamber, then go to this match, men's chamber, and then mommy at the end. But I think it'll deliver. I think it'll be a good match. It's just that it's only the match. You know what I mean? There's no story here. There's no built like, oh man, I can't
Right.
wait to see these guys go against each other for this and that. This tag team's been thrown together, and it's, if they took the belts
Well,
off of the Judgment Day, I would be like, okay, whatever. Hopefully they
people
lose them then soon, and it goes to AOP or something.
people would say, well, like, no, there is a story. It's yeah, like, you weren't invested in the whole Pete Dunne thing, and it's like, no,
No.
like,
I've
he's
never
just.
really liked Pete Dunne, to be honest. Like you said, that style just doesn't do the finger stuff and like
uh,
whatever, man. Just like I don't know. I think his look is weird. The one's wearing like a weird thing with a weird haircut. The other one's wearing tighty whities. and it's like, what's going on here,
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah,
impressive athletes. I'm not saying that, but I don't know.
just not our preference.
Not our preference. So, who do you have winning that match, Timmy?
DIY.
Nah, I'm gonna say that the Judgment Day retains, and you know, I would love for them not to be honest. I think you just
This is what I would love to see. I would love to see that Judgment Day retains and then they lose the tag team titles to R-Truth and The Miz on Monday Night Raw. I would love to see that.
ew. I like that. There's
And then
something there.
and then like look, again, it's not going to be like a long-term thing. I think that The Miz well, again, this is again speculation. I hate doing this shit, but
Why? That's what we're doing here.
give me that, right? Have them win that. Give R-Truth some credibility, right? And then let them lose to the Creed brothers the following week. And then the Creed brothers go on a run. Right? Like that's what
Mm.
I want to see. I want something substantial. And then I would love to see the Creed brothers against the AOP.
Yeah.
I
Well,
would love
see,
to.
I feel like that's where I kind of want Judgment Day to lose so that then those titles will go to SmackDown and AOP takes them out and destroys them and wins the titles. And then maybe after Mania, you have the Creed brothers then joined on the same side as AOP, and you get the chase of the Creed brothers going after AOP and trying to take the titles off them. You know what I mean? Like if Creed brothers beat Miz and R-Truth, it's like you got two faces. It's not really a big payoff. Like I'd like the Creed brothers to take it off a heel. Like I don't
Yeah,
know, but if you're putting the belts on the Creed brothers, I'm not really going to complain about it, I guess.
no.
All right. So let's get to the final match that we're going to talk about tonight, and that's the men's elimination chamber. Star-studded LA Knight, Randy Orton. You got Bobby Lashley. You got Drew McIntyre,
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul, Kevin Owens, and it's just as stacked as you can get without having anyone with a title in there, like the heavyweight championship in there. So a lot of different ways this match can go. Who do you got winning it? What do you see happening in this match?
I think the whole world has Randy Orton winning this thing. I see LA Knight winning this.
Whoa, LA Knight, huh?
I see him.
Wow.
I see him finally breaking through, and I see him pulling this off, and I see him getting to WrestleMania. Like he's just too big right now. Um, I just see it. Like, he's been there. He's been close. I don't know. I just have this weird feeling that they're going to push him right now, and he's been excellent. He's delivered.
He's
Like
delivered. He
there's
deserves it. He's not missed a beat, even though he's not been getting that like main time, right?
Yeah, and like, look, Randy Orton would be great, but like, dude, LA Knight is a draw, dude. He is a big draw right now, and we all thought that at some point, he's going to be LA Knight. His stardom is going to be tested. Is he going to last? Is he going to be a flash in the pan? And he has sustainability, dude. And he is legit. And I think they're gonna reward him with a nice little WrestleMania match. Um, dude, main event night one would be epic for him. It would be huge. Um, look, Logan Paul already's done it. He's already main evented a WrestleMania. Uh, Randy Orton has already done it. Uh, KO has done it in the tag team match, right? Like all these guys have done a main event. I think it's LA Knight's time. I think he's gonna
Logan
get a
Paul?
yeah.
He didn't main event a
Oh,
WrestleMania.
not a WrestleMania. I'm sorry. He
Crown
made it
Jewel.
a main of a PLA with Roman Reigns.
Yeah. So did
Um,
LA.
yeah. So I think he's got an opportunity to do this thing. I really do.
I love that. I wouldn't be upset with that. That would be that. Then you get two baby faces against each other. I mean, I feel like this chamber kind of sets up the match between Logan Paul and LA Knight. Maybe you get a possibility of them going at it a little bit. There's a little bit of foul play there. Maybe he uses the knuckles on LA Knight and you set up the US United States Championship match at WrestleMania between LA Knight and Logan Paul.
One way or another, I feel like LA Knight is gonna it has to be in WrestleMania. He has to
Oh, for
have
sure.
it has to be a belt opportunity for him.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just I just think he's been so good that he deserves a shot.
Amen. I agree with you. I would be totally happy with that if something like that were to happen. The two front runners to me, and it's funny because it's like I just pass over Kevin Owens. Like I don't feel like, and that's not a knock at Kevin Owens, but I don't feel like he's the one that is going
He's
to
a
be facing.
So here, like, can I? Well,
Yeah,
hold
yeah.
on.
Go ahead.
Before you, like, Kevin Owens is a absolute workhorse, and I feel like the reason why we say, like, you're about to say what you're saying, is because he's going to be there regardless. Like, that he's going to be in that championship, like, contender match all the time. There's not a single moment where like you don't think of KO as like a guy that's not worthy of a championship fight. So I think that we pass him over because we know he's always going to be there. Like, oh, it's not his time because, of whatever. He's just that good, You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does that make any sense at all?
No, it totally does. I would say that it's not also part of me thinks he's main evented the last two WrestleManias, one in a tag match, one against Stone Cold Steve Austin. And it's like I just don't see the storyline with him and Seth right now. It just hasn't, you know, they just haven't had that storyline at all. You could totally have Randy Orton because there's history there. There's an epic WrestleMania match with them from WrestleMania 31, and there's the like RKO that you've probably seen the highlights out there listening where Seth goes for the stomp and Randy just kind of pushes him up, and it's an incredible one of his best RKOs ever. And there's history there with them and the authority and all that other stuff. So you get the aesthetic, Seth Rollins, Randy Orton. That's main event, any PLE, any time of the year. So there's an obvious choice, like you said. Everyone in the world could pick that. I'm leaning towards Drew McIntyre. I think the story's there, and it's just he finds a way. He gets, maybe there's some interference again, and it's like he capitalizes and he gets his shot again at Mania, and it's him versus Seth at WrestleMania for the title. But it's to me, it's got to be Randy or Drew. I feel like those are the two.
Yeah, I mean, Drew is the easy choice. I mean, his storyline is building so well. So it should be probably him. I just in LA Knight, I hope that like he eventually gets his shot and has an opportunity to really like carry a belt for maybe. I'm not saying it's going to be sustained for a long period of time, but I would hope that like they give him an opportunity to try to carry the torch for one of these belts. Tom, I know we're running out of time here, but I need to talk about Todd the Builder.
Todd the Builder, the save Ivar. So we're done with the men's chamber match then? I think. What about Logan Paul winning it?
No,
What if you got Logan Paul, the social media
not happening.
megastar, and you got a heel going for the two belts on the line? Boom,
Not
boom.
happening. Not happening. I think that's a little too much to bite off for Logan Paul right now. I think he's
They
good
fought
with.
last year too, Logan and Seth.
I like what he's doing right now with his material and what he's going with, and like he's got the whole brass knuckle or the brass knuckle thing,
Yeah.
and
I
he's
bet
gonna
you
have,
that's in play. There's some brass knuckles, I'm sure, going to be involved in
like
this
you
chamber
said, he's
match.
gonna have a match at WrestleMania. Like
Oh yeah.
there's two nights. It's just gotta you got to figure out who it's going to be. It's probably going to come from this fallout of Elimination Chamber. If it's LA Knight, that'd be great, and they can build that, and then it could be like a whole US champion thing, and that'd be nice. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
All right. So let's get to the final topic of the night and a cause that, Tim, you've taken up valiantly, and kudos to you. You started this revolution that's sweeping all of social media, the Save Ivar revolution. Hashtag Save Ivar. Can you expand on that a little bit, Tim? Let the audience know out there what we're talking about. Save Ivar. What do you mean? He's a vicious Viking. What does he need saving from?
Tom, we both know it's not just my cause, it's your cause too as
It's
well.
our cause, yes.
And
People's
we
cause.
we love Ivar. All right. And Ivar, since his partner has gotten hurt, has been prolific now on the singles circuit here, and he has performed exceptional.
Every
We've
match.
we've seen more of Ivar than we ever have seen. He's been in a 14-year battle with Alpha Academy. It feels like.
Yeah. It's been going on forever with them and New Day, and he's gone through them all.
And we just want Ivar to get rid of his gimmick because, Tom, there's not many gimmicks left in the WWE. I think the most successful gimmick of all time has been The Undertaker, which is, a man that is part of a funeral procession who is an undertaker, and that's all fine and well, but that's somewhat believable. Ivar is a Viking that is living in 2024, which makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Just drop the character.
And he keeps on showing up to wrestling events as a Viking. And we know that his real name is Todd. And we just want him to be like Todd the Builder. Like that's the plainest thing we've come up with.
It should just be Gimmick Todd. They should just give him a new gimmick every week. And here comes Gimmick Todd. Oh my gosh, he's a farmer. Whoa, watch out for that hay bale. Here comes Gimmick Todd. Holy moly, he's a vampire.
Todd the Vampire.
Todd the Vampire. Count Todd is coming out this week. Just give him a gimmick, a new gimmick every week I want for Todd.
Yeah, and we just hope that the WWE recognizes that he is the only wrestler right now that has a gimmick. And it's just atrocious. And
Awful.
even like Valhalla is like
Sarah? You mean Sarah, Todd and Sarah?
Yeah. And like they come out and they talk about the gods and all this stuff. Like, dude, we're over it. Like, let's just get Todd back to normal. Let's give him an all-American name. Like, let's go Todd the American. That would be great.
Oh my, just have him be the Patriot, the new Patriot, Todd.
And the last thing is that like Todd the Builder puts on incredible matches. And what he has done with Chad Gable, especially last match at Raw, was insane. Again, like these guys just put on such great matches, and we love when Todd like just sells out. I mean, the flip that he does off the top rope has to hurt. Like he does that full flip and lands on his face, and he doesn't hit it ever usually. It has to hurt. But like Chad, when he does his German suplex, that thing is just insanity. Like no one in their right mind would expect a guy like Chad Gable to be able to pull off that type of move on Ivar. And when he does it, it's super impressive and it's awesome to watch. So here's to Chad. Here's to Todd the Builder.
And here's to you.
And here's to you.
The Schmidt and Lavellite, the Jabroni out there, the people that Love the show that we're putting out there, and we love you, and we appreciate you. Another episode of Jabroni Drive has come and gone. Glad to see Gable getting a little momentum as we're heading into the WrestleMania PLE. Hopefully
Tom,
that's building to something. Yes.
I think we went over time again.
Well, there's a lot to talk about. They're going to love it. Everyone out there, we appreciate you listening. If you're not already doing it, give us that follow, that subscribe. If you're still listening, give us a hashtag Save Ivar. Huh? What do you think? Timmy?
Save Ivar. We got to save Ivar.
Got to save him.
Got to save him.
That's got to be our WrestleMania sign. Ivar's real name is Todd. Timmy, what do you got to say to all the Schmidt and Lavellites out there before we sign off?
Listen, when you're a jabroni, you're a jabroni
for life. We love you. Till next week. Peace.